getting another business and markets they started on Frontier Africa reports. Hello, everyone. It's Thursday. We've got just about 2 more sessions to go before the end of this week, which is the final full market week in the month of April, the first in the second quarter. Just a quick run through some of the equity markets we cover for you. The GSE, starting from the bottom of the pile, up by 0.68% on Wednesday. The Nairobi stock market it has 0.38%. Very positive reading, holding the NSE Usher index well around the 100 level. Of course, the Egyptian market continued to nosedive, walk through this is the start of the week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, down by 3.21%. The sell-off on the Egyptian bourse, the biggest exchange north of the continent, is still ongoing. Today's the final business and markets officially in Cairo until Sunday. And then you've got a BRVM down by roughly 0.25% in West African French-speaking exchange based in Cote d'Ivoire, and the Nigerian market sank deeper, 1.2%. There were sell-offs across telcos, banking, breweries, consumer goods, oil and gas yesterday, and that was how the market went. So that's what we just finished off yesterday. For the third session this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Ghana stock market remained flattish. We're looking for a breakout point for the Ghana stock markets, perhaps before the end of the week tomorrow, Friday. Let's get on to see some of the big stories across the East African corridor, with the Kenya looking for a very soft relationship. It's looking for fresh loans, and it's now approaching Washington to see if there could be cheap loans for the Ruto's administration. In the meantime, the Central Bank of Kenya is under pressure to raise yield, to keep yields high, as we see billions, dozens of billions of shillings maturing. The central bank has been very skittish or reluctant to raise yields on government papers for investors, trying not to overheat the system in a manner of speaking. It comes at a cost, by the way. And then you've got a high court in Kenya has rejected Kenya Revenue Authorities, about 943, roughly 1 billion shillings, a tax claim against Ola Kenya. Ola Kenya is an oil retailing company formerly known as Libya Oil Kenya, now changed to Ola Kenya. The court says that the KRA has no claim against the tax claim against the oil retailer. In the meantime, Kenya Power will be coughing out a handsome 500 million shillings to Woolworths over the 2029 Nakumatt shopping center fire that happened. The power company listed on the NSE is being held responsible for that. It's going to pay some claims, 500 million shillings, as it were. In the meantime, the World Bank has suspended tourism funding to Tanzania, and it's all related to some of the issues around the Roha National Park expansion, which impacted some locals. And again, there were some reports of extrajudicial killings, whatever, in that, and some other things there, accusations leveled against Tanzania. So the World Bank says it's no longer supporting tourism funding in the East African economy. That's no good news for President Samia Suluhu's administration. But let's move on and check through West Africa. The debt that Africa would have to pay, or the debt service payments this year, will be around $75 billion US, and that's according to Dr. Akumi Additional, the president of the AFDB. Remember, on Monday and Tuesday next week, the African heads of state and finance ministers will come together to meet with the International Development Assistance, the IDA of the World Bank, to discuss the IDA 21 Replenishment Fund. The African heads, political leaders, and their finance minister will have to put on the table proposals before the World Bank officials as to projects to be financed. They have to defend this a project. Will it be sustainable? Will it be climate friendly? Climate adaptation, human rights, all of that, protection, and all of that will have to be on the table when this conversation opens up in Nairobi, Kenya, for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday next week. We're covering that for you here on Frontier Africa Reports. Keep your eye on that. It's going to be a major summit for African leaders and finance chiefs following last week's World Bank IMF spring meetings that was held in Washington. Now, let's see. President Ruto and his team will be hosting that summit in Nairobi. In the meantime, Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission appears rudderless right now, and it's very simple. The Yuguda-led board and management and its executive commissioners were sacked late Friday after the end of the quarterly Capital Markets Committee meeting. The presidency in Nigeria announced a new board to be led by Emomotimi Agama and a few other professionals in the industry, but there was no mention of who will superintend the SEC until a new board has been cleared by the Senate. The Senate is National Assembly is yet to get back from its recess. So until Agama and his team are cleared to come in, they can go into the SEC. So right now, things appear very rudderless, and that's sources speaking from within the SEC, Abuja headquarters, to Frontier Africa report on Wednesday. Right now, everyone's sitting on their palms, as it were, waiting for what happens next. Who is in charge? The SEC right now. That lacuna has been created, and the staff are looking forward to someone to step up to the plate. There's no word yet as to who will be the interim head of the Securities Commission until Agama formally takes over. In the meantime, of course, there's still no handing over between the team, the Yuguda team, and the Agama team, by the way. But let's move on, because we got news, which could be some good news, by the way, because the Council on Privatization yesterday says it received a proposal from a committee that suggested, or proposing rather, that the Bank of Agriculture be merged with NASA. That was the special agency, microfinance bank created by the central bank a few years ago under Godwin Emefiele, who was the governor of the central bank at the time, to support agriculture, financing, incentives, risk sharing, whatever, with farmers in Nigeria. So the proposal is to merge the two agencies and recapitalize it to make it much bigger. Whatever the name, whatever the structure of the new agency, we're waiting to see how this will help Nigeria's food security and sustainable agriculture in the country. In the meantime, the minimum wage in Nigeria is 30,000 Naira per month. Now, DSTV in Nigeria says it's raising its premium package to 37,000 from 29,500 from the 1st of May. That will wipe out your minimum wage if you're here in Nigeria for a monthly subscription. However, if you pay before the 1st of May, you'll be getting the DSTV package services as a premium subscriber at the former rate or at the current rate until your subscription expires, and you have to cough out the new level of package. This is all stratified. You can just read that up. In the meantime, we have Ghana's Kumasi International Airport looking to officially open for business on June the 1st. Part of the projects that President Akufo-Addo is putting together before he exits office after his tenure expires in December. Okay, let's take it down to Southern Africa and just grab a few headlines from the Southern African Development Community region, with the Capitec story earnings in the news yesterday or day before yesterday, that the market still reacting positively to that earnings, by the way. But if you look at the earnings that we keep covering for you across the African region, Press Corporation PLC, which is listed on the Malawi Stock Exchange, reporting full year 2023 profits, says it's going to be higher, about 73% to 92% over the 2022 period. We're expecting to see the core numbers when they're fully released to the stock exchange in Malawi. South African economic, the European Union economic slowdown may hurt Mauritius exports. And that's the latest news, by the way, from the island on the economy on the Indian Ocean. Zimbabwean authorities are still scratching right now what to do with the new currency, the ZiG that jumped at the start just about 2 weeks ago, and now looks to be under pressure. Zimbabwe is resolute that the US dollar will no longer be the fiat currency for the troubled Southern African economy. In the meantime, the clock is ticking towards May 29 general elections in South Africa, Africa's most advanced economy. So all eyes on some of the lead politicians in the game. President Ramaphosa, the sitting president, who of course is expected to be contesting for another term, is blaming the apartheid government of the past for today's trouble for the South Africa's economy. It's been 30 years since the dawn of democracy in South Africa, and of course the first popular black majority elections there, led by the iconic late leader. That's the former president of the country who for just one term, Nelson Mandela, the Mandiba. Since then, it's been a bit topsy-turvy for the economy till today. Now, the apartheid government of the past has been blamed for today's economic problems of South Africa. In the meantime, Jacob Zuma, the immediate past president, of course, of South Africa, from whom Ramaphosa take over, says he's going for his new party wins in November 29 elections, is going to nationalize lands and banks in the country. Well, let's see how that goes. Okay. In the meantime, Victor's Energy, let's move on. Says he's signing an MOU with Delagio Investment Holdings for Zimbabwe's gas to power project. Those are your headlines from Southern Africa. Let's just sum it up in North Africa, with Egypt and Lithuania forging ahead in terms of economic collaboration, while the Egypt's external debt was about $168 billion as of December of last year. The Egyptian expertise says they want the government to give them a 2-year tax exemption. Whatever that sounds to President El-Sisi and his team. But let's see, it's just a request, by the way. And the UNHCR, Human Rights Commission, says it's completed projects worth about $2.2 million in the troubled Sahel country of Sudan. And finally, the underwater train tunnel linking Spain and Morocco could be ready by 2030 for the World Cup that Morocco is co-hosting. It's one of the ambitious projects or iconic projects that Morocco and Spain are looking at to see if it will happen to boost tourism and, of course, make it a lot easier for fans and players to have the 2023 World Cup. It's going to be one of the world's latest underwater train tunnel project in that corridor. And those are your headlines this Thursday, the 25th of April. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you back soon on the show tomorrow morning.